Hi, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game called The Estates, which I don't own, but I played it recently. Took this photo of the final game state. This is an auction game with a few really interesting elements in it. I'll go into a few of them real quick, then I'll mention my favorite mechanism. One of the cool things about this game is that all of the money in the game starts in each player's supply, and that remains all the money that all the players will have. So there's no external bank that you're drawing funds from. All the money from the start is the money in circulation. So I can't remember exactly how much we started with. It was like $12 million or something like that, $15 million. And that money got passed around throughout the game. There were times in the game where I had a ton of money and times in the game where I had a little bit of money, but it was all relative to that overall amount of money in circulation. I thought that was really interesting in an auction game. One of my favorite things about the game is that in most auction games, you're acquiring things for yourself. And those are only your things. No one else has anything to do with those things that you gain. This is definitely the case in one of my favorite auction games, Raw. I'm acquiring things, they are mine. In the Estates, you are collectively building essentially a block in a city block. And you're building these towers in these cities. And it's and you're, at the end of the game, you're looking at the rows of the cities that are complete. The two rows that are complete score. The row that isn't complete scores negative points for the players who control the buildings in that row. And so I love that you are auctioning off things that are building in this collective area. And so like in this row right here, the green player controls this tower. They have the block at the top, blue, red, blue. And so we're all kind of ended up working together to complete this row and to ensure that we'd all score positive points at the end of it. So I really like this auction mechanism where we're building something together. That was really cool. There's another thing, actually. I just remembered that I mentioned like there's a green player, blue player, red player. I don't start off in the game as the red player, or the blue player, or the green player. The green player in the game is the player who first wins an auction for a green block, and they become the green player. So the green player might also be the red player if they are the first player to win an auction for a red block. I thought that was really interesting. Assigning player color during the game, that's almost unheard of. That's brilliant. That actually probably should be my favorite game mechanism, but there's actually another mechanism that's even better, in my opinion. And it's just a really simple, streamlined auction mechanism, which is one player, so say it's my turn, I choose something to auction. I can auction a block, I can auction one of these things that top off the towers. There's a little mayor token over here, and there are a few other things that affect like the length of the rows, things like that. I choose one of those things to auction off, and I put it on the table for auction. The player on my left gets to bid if they want, then the next player, then the next player, and then I get to bid if I want. Say the last player to bid $5 million. I then either can pay that amount, so I don't have to outbid that player. I am either paying that player $5 million to win the auction myself, or I say, okay, I'm going to pass, I'll take your $5 million, and so they pay me the $5 million. This is, I'm sure it's been done in other auctions before. This is the first time that I've really heard of this, as far as I'm aware, and I really like this auction system because it gives an increasing amount of pressure every time you place a bid. You're trying to decide, okay, how much do I want to spend if I really want this thing? And if I'm not going to get it, how much can I get out of the next player, the player who decides to win it? Because whether or not I'm the final bidder, it's between the player who's auctioning it and the next player. So I love that push and pull there, that you're always thinking about what the other players might bid, like in any auction game. But there's, if you lose the auction and you're the last player to bid the highest, then you can end up getting a lot of money. So even if I'm the first player to bid, I might say, okay, I'm going to bid $4 million, thinking that no one else will bid that much, and knowing that I might actually get $4 million for a thing that I didn't even want. That is really cool. Yeah, that's the Estates. I think that's all the things I wanted to mention about it. Really interesting auction game. I look forward to playing again, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about your favorite mechanism if you've played this game, or if you can think of any other auction games that these mechanisms remind you of, whether it's the collective building element, the final bid, how the money can go either way depending on who wins it, the money staying in circulation, all those things, and the assignment of player color during the game, any of those things. If you can think of another game that reminds you of that, I'd love to hear about that in the comments. Thanks. Oh, almost forgot to mention. I'm wearing a shirt that was given to me by Christopher over at Roll for the Win. I'll put a link below, but this is a Wingspan shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but it has all these little eggs. It's a third-party accessory. It's not something that we make or endorse or make money off of, but Christopher was nice enough to send it to me, and so I wanted to give him a shout-out. Thank you, Christopher, for sending this, and I'll put the link below if you're interested in getting one of these shirts for yourself. All right, thanks.